I'm going to show you guys the one strategy that has been making me consistent returns. If you know whether you're new to the channel or not, if you've been in my channel a while, you know how monster the wins that I'm getting here. This strategy is super easy and it bases it on one support and resistance on higher time frames, and then we look at intraday time frames like the 15-minute and the 1 minute to get really precise entries and oversold type of patterns. I believe on the strongest companies you should be buying the dip because a lot of the big institutions are going to buy it up. So if you're thinking about that, this strategy works best. You can do this on stocks. You can day trade stocks and options. And I think it works best on over $50 and above. I have no losses on the $50 and above stocks. Okay. I know that sounds crazy, but in the past, couple months that I've been doing this, all my wins have been super, super easy on those higher quality stocks because institutions are buying it. All right. So let me show you guys my watch list and what I'm looking for. Let me show you this right in here. So here's going to be, I have a watch list of right now of 29 stocks that I'm looking at each day. These are the highest quality stocks, so you can do options on them and you can day trade shares just fine. And here's why I like these. If you look at the option chain, look at it. They're liquid. They have weekly options, so that means they're in demand. There's a lot of liquidity in them. You never have to worry about, option chains being like really bad and stuff. So, let's look at a common stock we all know and that we played recently. Actually, no, I'll show you what I traded just today with CRM, right? Look at the monster V shape up we made on CRM. It was insane, right? And if you held your options, you're making insane money. So I'm going to go over the rules on how you need to hold on because, granted, guys, we're catching bottoms. And if you catch a bottoms, you can go way more than 20% on your options. I'm talking 50% plus on your options. So let me go over the criteria of what I look to do first. First thing is first, I look for the 15-minute to touch this band. If the 15-minute is not touching this band, I don't even look at the trade. I'm looking for deep, deep discounts, okay? This is one 15-minute candle and went down like almost 2%. All right, so once I see that, the next thing I do is I look at the daily chart and I look at support resistance. Where can I find anything support resistance? The easiest way to do is to say, hey, the EMAs. The EMAs are great, but as you can see, we can't use the EMAs for this example here. So you can look to the left and you can kind of see like this candle right in here is probably pretty good support here. As you can see right here is the bottom and it goes up. But I like to use the EMAs, but since in this example you can't really use them, so then we'll go to the 1-minute chart and then we'll see this is the most important thing I'm going to show you is the 1 minute. This is where you can get the most precise entry. So on the 1 minute, we look for the same pattern. Touching the lower band, but you have to give it the time distance. It's going to want you to get in a trade right away. If you just take these right away, like here's probably where the 15-minute touch and here's where the 1 minute does. But the problem is you have no time distance from the 1 minute. If you give this time distance from the 1 minute, that is the most important, crucial thing. Because remember, guys, everything reverts to the mean. So if price hasn't touched this EMA 20, which is this dark blue band, we're going to come and touch that 20 very fast. And with this strategy, since I'm catching tops and bottom, or I'm catching the bottoms, we can aim for higher targets. My first target's going to be that 20, and then the next target is going to be that 50. Those are my targets here. Those are very easy, doable targets for this. So as you can see, if you played this here, you want to wait 15 minutes for the time distance. So as you can see right here, we're touching this EMA 20 at 9:30. You shouldn't be looking at plays till 15 minutes after the bell. Well, here's 9:45 right up in here, and what do you see? Well, you see right here, you see a touch here. You would start accumulating in this area. Now, what do I do for accumulations? For me, I'm going to do 2 accumulations so I can get my max size in. Sometimes when I do 3, I don't get it in. And oftentimes, guys, I'm getting it in. The first entry I do, I usually get in amazing and it just goes right up. So I'd say 2 accumulations is very nice because, I mean, does it really matter if you get in at 240.50 and it goes a little under and then it just shoots right up, right? This is a very you're getting very close to the bottom. So you're looking at the daily chart to see any, support resistance. It could be on the candles. I like using EMAs. Use the 1 minute, wait 15 minutes from that EMA 20. Just say 940's here. Well, here's 945. wait for a touch. So granted, honestly, you would have actually got in right in here, right? I know I think I might have got in here. I'm not really sure, but you would have got in here. As you can see, you're very close to that, and then we were definitely due for a touch. When you see it hovering the band like this, it's very bullish. You know, we're gonna break out of that. And what do? Hit the 20, we hit the 50, and then the next targets are the 15-minute. This is when you want to just auto break even and just trail it. As you can see, we're going to touch these. We can touch these EMAs too. We go to the 5, 10, 20, and the 50. All right. So we can touch higher time frames. I mean, you can look at CRM. We played this one before. Right here on this dip here, we go down. We come back up to the 5, 10, and we can all the way go back down. So you want to lock in those gains, but just in case if it does something like this where it just V-shapes up, you can get way more than 20% gains doing my option strategy, way more. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to scale out I'm going to scale out 50% of my position on this 20, and I'm going to scale out another 30% on this, and I'm going to leave that last 20% where we got in break even here. That way, these are the monster home runner hits. If it keeps going, it just keeps going. And what I would look to do is, you know, you can even swing trade these and hold it for the next day if you want to, and just keep it up here and maybe move it up. I'm planning to move it up at 10%, so move it up to this line here. That way, because sometimes, I'm not kidding, guys, remember when we played, I will show you an example of Hood. A lot of the times when you do this system, they actually go up big the next day. When we traded Hood, I mean, look at this beautiful dip here. When we traded Hood, I remember we traded Hood way back in this day here. Yeah, I remember this one right in here. We had the 15-minute, we had the 1 minute. This was 10, and then as you can see, it did exactly what CRM is doing. We caught the very dippity of the bottom right there. This one was not an entry because of the 1 minute. This one, I remember, was an entry. And what happened? It goes up and up and up and up and up and up. I mean, it makes some monster returns. So my thing is just trail and stop it. You know, right up in here, put the stop loss at 10%. If it goes up some more, I mean, put the trail stop at the very beginning of this day. And if it still tries to keep gapping up, put the stop loss at the first candle here. And if it still keeps gapping up, as you can see, we finally gap down. Because remember, all these things, this 15-minute isn't going to uptrend forever. Look at this uptrend here. Usually a couple days is the max, and then it finally downtrends. So you got to understand how the reversion to the mean works, okay? But you want to make sure you have that stop loss, and you just keep trailing it. I mean, but look at the monster gains here. And then when you're looking at daily support levels, this is what's going to give you the biggest returns, right? When you look at Hood, it's in an uptrend. So when we played this one, I believe it was on this EMA 20, right? So we had this monster EMA 20 line acting as support, and it goes up monster. And or was it this one? I mean, look at this. EMA 20, monster move up, right? So a lot of times I look at these EMAs, but just like in anything, right? We're going to go back to this EMA 50, right? If the more you touch this 20, the more prone you're going to come into the next support level. But yeah, this is what I've been doing. It's literally the easiest strategy out there that keeps it so simple, stupid, where you can make insane money. And I'm posting all these in the day trade alerts so you guys can see. Even posting the futures. I was in Palantir calls. There's another futures traded BA. We traded BA. I mean, this is another example, guys. I mean, remember when we traded BA? You would have made insane returns. I mean, look at here. I mean, look at this monster move up. I'm not sure what caused that, but monster move up. Where did we trade? Where did we trade BA? Was it over here? Yeah, we traded BA here. Same thing here. As you can look, here's the 15-minute. We don't just trade it based on the 15-minute. This was 818. So then I look at the BA chart here on 818. Well, this was coming into a supply area on that EMA 20, right? And so then it had that nice little bounce. Now, sometimes they do this. They bounce. I mean, this is insane returns on our options where they can go up or they just go straight down to the next level. But you usually get a nice little bounce towards these lower, these EMAs. So if you look at August 18th, we played that here on Monday. You could see where did we get the bounce. Same thing. We had the 15-minute, but remember, we got to wait 15 minutes from this EMA 20. So here is 9:42 at 15 minutes. you get around 958, right? 957. All right, so as you can see, you know, right in here, oh, my bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so right in here, okay, I see what happened. So I remember I got into this one. Yeah, when you waited that 15 minutes, was around this area here. 15 to 20 minutes is the safest. I did one here and I did one here, and then as you can see, it made a monster return. You know, I made my 20% here, and then this one would have broke even if you held the rest. But as you can see, it did kept going up. So sometimes they do that. But if you look at the higher quality stocks, hold up, let me add that one to my watch list. I forgot. I have a watch list of all these that I put in. But if you look at the higher quality stocks, if you ever see like Nvidia coming into these areas, they tend to do the V-shaped type pattern that I preach about, where it goes down and it comes all the way back up, right? It goes down, it comes all the way back up. Because remember, price will revert to the mean, and that's what we're capitulating on. All right. And then if you look at the daily time frame, you can look at, well, are we near any crucial support, EMAs? You can look at right here, where here's a crucial support there. Here's your EMA 50, and all these kind of patterns. But this is what I've been doing. I've been making insane returns. Your first target is always the EMA 20. And then the next target is the EMA 50 on the 1 minute. And then once you hit those areas, you lock it in. Well, so let's say you hit the EMA 20 and it goes back down. Well, you also want to put your break even there. Because a lot of the times I see happen is, remember, this EMA 20 can make a monster new low, right? So you can see, look at the chart patterns, just looking at how price moves. We hit the 50, goes down, hit the 50, 50. I mean, you don't want to be in that rough wave of options, right? So if we hit this 20, let's say you're shorting this, right, with puts. Let's say we hit this 20 and it goes all the way back up. Well, then at least you want to lock in, you know, like I said, 50% of your position here, break evens up here. Well, if you shorted this, you could have got your next target. If you know, instead of just taking the 20, you could have got more gains here. And then you hold that last 20% up in here. Did it ever touch that? If you ever shorted Nvidia here at this example, no, you would have made a monster returns, and then you would just push it down 10% on when it comes into the next day and see what happens there. But this is a really nice thing. Obviously, I like to buy the dips. I could trade any other way. I could do puts too if we don't get a signal. You know, the market's just very bullish. I mean, look at MSTR here. I mean, look at this monster move up here. I mean, 820 here. We have a 15-minute chart. We can look at the daily chart to see what's going on here on the daily. Well, we can see kind of some consolidation. I like to look farther left to look for more support. The first thing I see is a long upper candle here, and then I can obviously see that would be the big support. It did actually not get down there, but you can also see this hammer bullish looking candle. If anyone knows chart candles, that's a very bullish candle. And then if you come into this 15-minute chart, I mean, I love the 15-minute and 1 minute here. Let's see if we got a signal on 820 on the 1 minute. Just because I see a 15-minute doesn't mean I get a signal. So if you go into MSTR on 820, same thing, right? As you can see, we wait 15 minutes of time distance. We have 930, roughly 945. I mean 955, and as you can see right around that 15 minutes, guys, literally to a T, where do we start going up? We start going up to that EMA 20 right around that 15-minute mark. So we would, you know, this is really near that dead bottom, but as you can see, what happens? You touch the 20 and you go back down, and it makes a new low, and it could keep going lower. So, but at least you're taking that 50% off right up in there, and but you know, as always, you know, it can keep uptrending. I mean, look at this monster move up. So that happens. But what we're trying to make this as safe as possible. We're catching the near bottoms of this, right? And the closer you get to the bottom, the more you can hold this. And then once you ride a wave like this, it's just easy peasy, right? You're just making bank, and you want to be in that wave when you're riding it. And there are so many times we're in that wave, and a lot of people are like, "Why did I sell?" I mean, I caught the bottom. You're catching bottoms with this. So I mean, you're getting 1 to 2 plays a day on options for this. Take advantage of it and ride it out. If I'm doing, you know, if I'm putting, you know, for options, I put $3,000 as my typical, you know, obviously you can go higher. I need to take $1,500 out at that EMA 20, take a little bit more out, you know, $500, you know, or $700 out at the EMA 50, and leave me that 20% for a runner. That way I can take advantage of this opportunity. All right. We know the 15-minute is going to touch these EMAs, but it doesn't have to touch it this fast where it goes down here and just goes all the way up. But you're going to get these kind of V-shapes all the time. But I had all these on my watch list here. I mean, higher quality stocks. These are all high quality stocks on my watch list that work amazing. OKLO has been just an absolute beast of a stock. It touches the lower, it goes up. You know, you can see a lot of the times you're getting these V-shaped movements. This is what I love to see, is that deep pierce down, V-shaped movement into these upper EMAs. This was 815. Look for that daily support. But just remember, EMAs tell you the trend, right? So if price action is above EMAs, you can see that OKLO is in an uptrend. So that's why these EMAs are acting as support here. And that's why with this strategy, you could swing trade it too. You want to hold some of those break even. I mean, imagine if you got in here at this bottom on OKLO and it goes up 45%. And you're just holding those options and it's just making you mad money. And it's just going up and up and up and up and up. And that's the purpose of this. I'm saying don't cut yourself short, guys. Scale out properly. It's very hard to do because you're like, man, I'm up $300. I'm up 20%. I could take it all out and I don't have to worry about anything. But why not just do break even and just, I mean, keep yourselves accountable. Write these rolls down on. I know I'm going to do it. I am not selling my full position anymore. And I'm going to start writing these out because I've seen it too many times where a lot of these options, they'll go up hundreds and hundreds of percents by swing trading them overnight. All right. So that's just one thing I encourage everyone to do. As you can see right up here, depending where that 15-minute is, this is 820. We come into that EMA 50, come back above it, bullish looking candle. So on 820 on OKLO, what did we see here? We had a 15-minute chart here. So then we go into the 1 minute. I mean, I can't keep making this up, right? This is it's just beautiful how often you're catching tops and bottoms, right? Obviously, this would have been one of those things where it's fine. You would have actually broke even on this one. But as you can see, though, you come into the 15-minute mark here. You have 15 minutes not touching the CMA 20. We had to touch the 20. That's it's a must when you're not touching the 20 in quite some time. So where's our 15-minute mark happening? We go from 940 to 951 here. This is where I would have accumulated some options, right? And as you can see, we get this nice bullish looking candle from all the way up to here to that 20, making you a 2% return, making you monster money on your options because you're catching the move very short. You're getting the momentum in your favor. It goes up 3% here. Barely misses our second target on the EMA 50. So as you can see, you take your 50% out here. If you have $3,000, you take $1,500 out. Wherever you got in with your average, it's now, let's say it's right up in here. You put it there, it takes you out. Because remember, this would be very bad if you have if you make a nice solid win and it just keeps going down and down and down. We know that the 15-minute is going to uptrend, but with this strategy, we want to make sure this is the dead bottom and it just starts uptrending, right? It goes up and it just keeps going up. That's what we want to see. So, yeah, you can see time and time again, you'll see a lot of the times where it actually does do that. Like, look at this. It gets here and it just uptrends and uptrends. Let me look at some of these. We had some very volatile days. Let me look at this day. I'm sorry I'm making this video a little long. August 15th, just to show you guys how often this strategy works. August 15th, we don't just take it on the touch. We have some time distance from the EMA, the 15-minute. Look at this monster reversion to the mean. So then we go to the 1 minute on 8:15. Also, I mean the daily. What do we have on 8:15? 8:15, we had a gorgeous EMA 10. To a T, you hit this EMA 10. So I would mark this line out and say, hey guys, this is acting as support. That's an EMA acting as support. What did the next day do? The next day, we pump up we went up to 4% here, right? We pump up the next day. That's all you need. It goes up, and then it can come back down to the next EMAs. Well, here's the next big support here, right? And so we're looking at these, but we want to make sure we put all these things into the system here. So August 15th, then we go to the 1 minute. So once I see the daily, I mark that daily support. It's very easy to use EMAs. If you're uptrending, the EMAs are going to be down below. Right here, where do we see MU? Here is where we saw MU with the 15-minute chart. Here's the 1 minute. And as you can see, we had monster EMA 20 time distance. Where? We haven't touched this EMA 20 since right here at the 946, but we weren't very close to this band either. Right up in here, I would say, this is a good accumulation. When I see a big bearish candle like this coming very close to it, I would have accumulated, once here and then another if it went down. Because as you can see, I mean, look at your targets are getting hit fast. Here's your first target, here's your second target, EMA 20 and then 50. Do we ever come back to this very bottom, which is where your entry would be? No. And so then, as you can see, it goes up into a monster swing trade position and it makes you monster money. Awesome gains. It even goes higher and higher. But yeah, that's what I wanted to show you guys. A lot of the times when you see this strategy, there's a lot of ways you can trade it. It's just I've been doing this for a while. I've been doing this for a couple years, just this strategy alone. This isn't just in the beginning I've been making it better and better as I go. And I just came across, I'm like, this is the most consistent strategy that I have ever done, period. It is insane. It's easy to do. It's reversion to the mean is going to happen. And so we got to ride those plays out, guys. You can do those. You can day trade the stocks. You can day trade the options. You can do this however you want to do. I will be going live every day in the Discord. We are getting at least 1 to 2 plays a day. It's just a very nice. I think you guys are going to love this. Definitely join the Discord if you haven't already. Click the link down below in YouTube comments below and the description. It'll say join the premium Discord for my alerts and system. It'll take you to this free chat landing page. Hit how to subscribe and hit day trade alerts. And for $12 a month, you can get access to the whole community channel, everything. I mean, obviously, if you're not a part of the channel, you're not going to get the day trade alerts. You're not going to get the day trading education, and you're not going to be a part of the daily live streams that I go live every day. I think that alone is worth the $12 a month. But that's how I'm doing it. I'm combining support on the daily. I'm combining the 15-minute for how oversold on the intraday, and then I'm using the 1 minute for sniper entries. EMA 20 and EMA 50 are always the targets on the 1 minute. Take out 50% on the EMA 20, take out another 30% on the EMA 50, and then hold that last 20% for the monster home run hits for a swing trade position to hold it overnight. And you'll thank me later because a lot of these are going up hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of percent. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Happy trading. Let me know if you need anything in the Discord, and I'll see you guys live every day, New York session.